Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here today with Kodi and Sarah, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Kodi's ability to understand and respond to his formal on-leash obedience commands. The little tiny corrections and little bits of motivation that we give him when we're working with him, and the training equipment that we're using, which is a regular 6-foot web training leash. Sarah keeps the bulk of the leash folded mostly in her right hand, which leaves her left hand free to give any little tiny correction that we give. And that is a little tug and release on his training collar. That is the second piece of equipment that we're using, and you'll be introduced to all of this when you pick him up. Now he is sitting very nicely at Sarah's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that they're going to demonstrate for us is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Kodi, heel. At this point, Kodi has a job to do, and that is to maintain pace with you when you're walking. Not forging ahead or lagging behind, but staying with you. We try to keep him focused on us. And whether you walk fast or slow, you change pace, change direction. When you stop, he should sit. And don't let him give you a hard time. Like if he starts to buck or decide he doesn't want to do it, that's just too bad. You were taught how to do this. We know you know how to do this. You're going to do this. And again, when Sarah stops her feet, he will sit. If he doesn't, she tells him no, sit. And she doesn't give up. Now this is your sit, stay. Stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, you do not use his name. Your long sit stay, when you're practicing at home, you want to practice lengthening out the amount of time he can hold it and the distance that you can go. When Sarah returns back to him, she walks right back to his shoulders where they started, and she takes off heeling again. So this makes walking your dog much more of a pleasure instead of a drag. No, sit. Stay. There we go. And this time, she's going to let him hold it for a minute, because this is developing self-control and focus and maturity, which is hard for young labs. This time she's going to call him. This is your recall. Kodi, come. He comes and sits. Very nice. So that stops him from jumping all over you or anyone else that he meets. When you come, you sit. And you're going to get praised for a good job. And focus with these young labs are all the same. They get distracted by the wind blowing, a leaf, a bird, a squirrel, a noise. Bring him back up, Sarah. Make him sit. She's going to leave him in another stay. And he was doing all this perfectly before I turned the camera on. And she's going to demonstrate that recall again. Great. Very good. He got a treat as a reward for coming and sitting. Now the next commands that we're going to be demonstrating for you are your down commands. Come on, Kodi. The breeze is blowing through the trees and it's distracting him. And he does these commands indoors as well as outdoors. And you can bribe him. We try not to, but you can. Because you can clearly see that he knows the command. But he is very food motivated if you need the help of a treat occasionally. She calls him in out of that, he sits, and then he gets the treat. Very good. And we're going to demonstrate that again for you. This is your lay down on command, but we just use one word, which is down. And stay. So your job is going to be to lengthen out the amount of time he can hold it, the distance that you can go. It all helps with his focus, his self-control, and his maturity. So we have demonstrated for you all of Kodi's formal on-leash obedience commands. We always forget that on Saturday afternoon our neighbor likes to work in his yard, so we have distraction. We've enjoyed having Kodi. He's a good boy. He's completely crate trained. He knows his obedience commands. I will have a packet of information for you so that you can go back to using a crate for him. We've enjoyed having him, and thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company.